There are mixed reactions to the increase in the minimum wage. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is in his presentation to the budget debate on Thursday said it will take effect in July. Shamela Pullen reports.
The Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness, announced an increase in the minimum wage from $16,000 to $17,000. He told Parliament the adjustment aims to protect the working class from the inflationary pressures while balancing the realities faced by employers. But members of the Minimum Wage Advisory Commission appear to have been taken off guard by the announcement. President of the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, St. Patrice Ennis, who sits on the commission, says there was no prior consultation. He was speaking Thursday on Beyond the Headlines.
And if that commission is no longer necessary, then do the legislation and disband it, but don't have it around and make it useless. If that is part of the bureaucratic nuisance, then we should dispense with it. But as I sit on it and not knowing about an increase in the minimum wage before today, it makes the commission looks like something that is not necessary. And so they must make a decision as to what the commission is about, what its purpose is, because this now, in the last 3 years that I can recall, we come and we hear movements and there's no consultation. I'm at a loss as to say, what is the purpose of this body if this is the way we are going to be doing things?
But for President of the Micro, Small and Medium-Sized Enterprise MSME Alliance, Antoinette Hamilton, the move reflects an effort to balance the needs of both employers and employees.
I believe that the Prime Minister would have listened to our cries when it was first announced by him during the election that it would have moved from 16 to 18,500 in his first budget, and it's now his first budget, and he has said 17, because the truth is, small businesses, we are struggling as well. We are feeling the burden of what's happening around us. And so I think moving it to 18.5 would have put much strain on us. And so 17,000, while it is not the ideal salary for, anyone working in Jamaica, in the context of a small business providing employment, it is a doable one for us.
Shamela Pullen, TVJ News.
As the Cuban Eye Care program comes to an end today, marking the formal conclusion of the Jamaica-Cuba Health Partnership, more concerns are being raised. Addressing a public health and sanitation meeting in St. Catherine on Thursday, Counselor for the Old Harbour South Division, Dr. Kurt Wall, says he is somewhat disappointed in the move, noting that it will affect patients with severe medical issues.
I have had scores of patients who have benefited from this program, and there are scores still waiting to get through on the program. For a cataract surgery, especially the high program that they have, and they have been operating through about 3 facilities in the corporate area. There are many other patients who haven't still gotten through as yet, and to do a cataract surgery privately may cost anywhere between $300,000 to $700,000. Which is out of the reach of most patients. So it will impact especially patients with cataract surgeries.
Counselor for the Treadways Division, Sydney Rose, says the relationship with Cuba has been tremendous and believes the government's response has been largely reactive.
They would have alluded to of negotiations, that this arrangement would have been coming to an end. And they should have been, as I've said before, proactive instead of being reactive. As I speak, hospitals like Lincydon and hospitals within St. Catherine and Jamaica on a whole are without doctors, general practitioners, specialists. And you would have known over the years that patients would have gone to these institutions, medical institutions, public hospitals, and would have been waiting hours and days as well.
It is time for a break, but stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. In the Business Minute, Acting Director General of the Jamaica Commodities Regulatory Authority, Wayne Hunter, says the $120 million stabilization program for the coffee industry has now been completed. Coffee exports were running at US $25 million before the industry suffered severe infrastructural and crop damage following the passage of Hurricane Melissa. He says the initiative formed part of the government's coordinated response to the damage done to the industry in the wake of Hurricane Melissa. It is now time for the top stories from around the world.
In the region, Guyana's President Irfan Ali is warning that rising tensions in the Middle East could have serious global economic fallout. Speaking at a business forum, Ali said instability in the Strait of Hormuz, a key oil shipping route, could disrupt energy supplies and drive up prices worldwide. He noted rising costs for fuel, shipping, and fertilizer, warning the impact could last for years even if the conflict ends soon. Ali is also renewing calls for a local oil refinery, saying it's critical to strengthen Guyana's energy security amid global uncertainty. And on the international scene, airport security delays are worsening across the United States as the government shutdown continues. TSA workers missing paychecks are calling out in growing numbers, driving up wait times. In Atlanta, up to a third of staff were absent, with lines stretching to 90 minutes. In Houston, some passengers waited as long as 3 hours. As the strain deepens, some TSA agents are turning to food banks, while airports step in with support efforts. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Aaliyah Bryant.
Thank you, Alia. We now head to our final break. When we come back, Midday Sports. Effective April 1, a major crackdown on illegal signage will begin across Kingston. The move, led by the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation and backed by the police, is aimed at improving public safety and cleaning up of the city's space. Yannick Williams has the details.
Illegal signs and the billboards scattered across sections of Kingston and St. Andrew could be a thing of the past. On Thursday, Kingston Mayor Andrew Swaby met with members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force to finalize plans for a major enforcement drive. The campaign, set to begin April 1st, will target unauthorized signs, many of which officials say pose safety risk and contribute to visual clutter.
In January, we had put out some notices and to the public at large to say that there are a lot of signs out there that are not regularized, are not approved, and we had said to them we are going to give them up 3 months, up to March 31st, to get them regularized. We also have said to them that we'll offer them up to 20% discount for it.
Mayor Swaby says with compliance at only 16.4%, enforcement is no longer optional but necessary.
So it is time for action. And I believe before we go action, we have to sensitize the police as at what laws give us the authority to do so. And just to briefly outline to you what we have been doing in a more detailed way. And at the same time, I'm going to solicit your help when we are going on the road.
In the meantime, Assistant Commissioner of Police Michael Phibbs says the Jamaica Constabulary Force will play a key role in ensuring the safety of personnel during the operation, as crews move to dismantle illegal structures across the municipality.
We are required to support the KCMC in all their efforts in restoring basically public order to our spaces across the Kingston and St. Andrew communities. Of course, I know that there will be some resistance in terms of you trying to enforce this, but I'm not sure that our powers will allow us to go outside of maintaining the peace in terms of public order situations.
He noted,
when you go out, we can have a team go with you, and if there is any breach of the peace or anything along those lines, that is where we will come in. So we will be there with you just to ensure that you carry out and execute your duties in an atmosphere where there is no threat to anyone. But in terms of pulling signs and so on, we will not be a party to that part of it.
They are also urging business owners to regularize their signage ahead of the April 1st deadline to avoid removal of possible penalties. Authorities say the enforcement drive will be carried out in phases, with a focus on major roads and high traffic areas across the corporate area. Yannick Williams, TVJ News.